What's up, my homies? It's Edible Buckets, and today, let's dive into each game from this wild Western Conference matchup to prepare ourselves for Game 7. Game 1 in Denver saw Minnesota take a 1-0 lead. Minnesota scored just 17 in the second quarter, had only 40 at half, but in the second half they scored 66, winning the game by 7. Anthony Edwards dropped 43. They also out-rebounded Denver by 8 and had 7 offensive rebounds to Denver's 3. In Game 2, Minnesota's defense was unhinged, holding Denver to just 15 points in the second quarter and 80 for the game. In 3 quarters, they were held under 21 points. Now that's some solid D.
But it starts with the D. So we got to make sure we keep playing defense. Our D was good tonight.
Cat and Ant each had 27, while no one on Denver had more than 20 points. Denver actually out-rebounded Minnesota by 8, but it didn't matter as Minnesota shot 50%. As the series shifted to Minnesota, so did the momentum. The Nuggets awakened and stomped Minnesota by 27. Each of the 5 starters for Denver were in double digits. 3 players with 20 plus. The Timberwolves only shot 30% from 3, while the Nuggets shot 48% from 3. Minnesota really struggled scoring. They only had 41 at the half. In Game 4, both teams went over 100 points for the first time in the series. Anthony Edwards dropped his second 40-piece of the series with 44, but it wasn't enough, as their second leading scorer was Mike Conley with only 15. Jokic had 35, Gordon with 27, and Murray with 19. I'm honestly not sure how the Wolves kept it moderately close with the lack of help for Ant. The Nuggets prevailed by 8. Going back to Denver for Game 5, Minnesota really needs a rounded offensive outing. They were able to do this in Denver not too long ago. Even though Ant had 43 points in Game 1, Cat contributed with 20, and Naz Reid with 16. In Game 2, it was Minnesota's defense that led the way. Is Denver their home away from home? Or did the Nuggets figure out Minnesota in Minnesota? This series is starting to remind me of the Clippers and Mavericks from 2021, where each road team won leading into Game 7. Then the Clippers finally won at home to end the series. Instead, here the Nuggets take Game 5. Joker dropped a 40-piece, and Anthony Edwards went 5 of 15 shooting. He needs to take over again at home in Game 6. In Game 5, the Timberwolves missed 18 of 26 threes. That's tough. In theory, at home in Minnesota for Game 6, they should shoot a lot better. The Nuggets only made 1 more 3 than Minnesota at 9, but shot 7 less attempts. Jokic was crazy once again. He shot 15 of 22 with a positive 21 plus minus. It's looking more and more like it'll be Celtics Nuggets, unless the Timberwolves can shake off the cobwebs of these past 3 performances and somehow find themselves again to spark some hope. And find themselves again did they ever, with their first home victory this series coming at the most crucial of times. I thought their defense in Game 2 was unreal, but little did I know in Game 5, in a do-or-die game, they would hold the defending champion Denver Nuggets to 70 points. The last time a team scored 70 or less points in a playoff game came back in 2016 when the Grizzlies scored just 68 points in the first round for San Antonio. The Nuggets scored just 14 points in the opening quarter and only 9 in the fourth, but the game was well out of hand by then. In this moment, I can definitively say, whatever happens in this series, the Timberwolves deserve some high praise. As young as this team is, as inexperienced in the playoffs as this team is, losing 3 straight games in the playoffs to the defending champions, and still having the mental fortitude to bounce back in that big of a fashion? Hats off to you, Minnesota. I don't think there's any other team in the playoffs remaining who can bring the Nuggets to a Game 7. Minnesota, you are my final hope. So in this Game 6, the presence and return of Mike Conley proved to be vital for Minnesota. He had 13 points, sank 3 threes, and dished out 5 assists. This offense needs a true point guard, and Conley is that. Overall, it was a very rounded offensive performance for Minnesota. Exactly what they needed. Naz Reid had a double-double with 11 boards and 10 points. Cat also had a small double-double, and Jaden McDaniels produced 21 points. The only player with 20 or more points for the Nuggets was the Joker, and Jamal Murray shot 4 of 18. His efficiency is super crucial for them. The Nuggets shot 7 of 36 from downtown at 19%. That's just crazy. Yo, the momentum swings in these playoffs are unreal. More times than not, if you are a team that just performed really well, you're due for a sleeper. Minnesota out-rebounded Denver by 19. And now, Game 7 is set for Sunday. Will the Nuggets return the favor and smack the shit out of Minnesota? Or will it be more like Game 2 and Minnesota will get a back-to-back victory? This series truly has lived up to the hype. The roller coaster ride has been crazy. I can't imagine currently being one of these fan bases. I felt similar vibes going through the Boston-Miami series last year. That series alone gave me my greatest sports heartache.
The Celtics are gonna win. There's a Game 7 back in Boston.
But it also gifted me one of my happiest sports memories.
The Heat are going to the NBA Finals.
Minnesota looked so dominant in games 1 and 2, but so did Denver in their 3-game winning streak. And now Minnesota is back to their dominant, defensive, gritty self, setting up a potential Game 7 for the ages. I really do believe the winner of this series is gonna win the NBA Finals. Let's just sit back and take in every moment. Cheers to Game 7.